back to my stream. This month I'm playing an Amiga game, and this month I'm doing witch themed games. Today's kind of a bonus. It's my last day of holidays and I don't have too much going on, so I figured I would do this, and I don't know how long it's going to take, so that'll be nice. Let me see. Yes, so welcome to the world of the Amiga, the Commodore Amiga. It's of course a home computer platform from the 80s to 90s, and a lot of the ROMs you find these days have been cracked by one or another groups. So I found out that in the menus of this game I couldn't navigate. I'll show you in a minute, but I'm going to turn on some features here, some trainers to cheat my way through the game a bit easier. Don't judge me too harshly. Now the audio output isn't picking up the disc sounds. That's odd. Oh, there it is. It's getting the game sound. Hopefully that's not too quiet. I might actually turn it up a bit. There you go. Yeah, that looks reasonable. So we have music playing as the game loads, and our nice little Amiga emulator here, FS-UAE, simulates all the, what do you call them, like disk access noises, or tape access, I guess it is, in some cases. So, what are we playing today? Oh no, my voice is coming through. Alright, that's fine. I don't know if it's really said yet, but this is an Elvira game, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mentioned her in my recent Sabrina stream, actually. And I haven't seen her firsthand, but she's sort of a cultural icon, especially in the US for a certain generation. She hosted a horror movie, like, thing. And she's known for, yes, having very low-cut dresses, essentially. How do I get past this screen? I always just hit random buttons and it eventually moves on. There we go. So luckily we didn't get graphical glitches on the title screen, which I got at a certain point. It might be when I activated Unlimited Continuous Trainer. I don't know why. Oh yeah, another cool feature of this emulator is during the loading bits you can warp through them. See, this is where I had trouble and where I almost gave up on playing this game at all. I naturally wanted to set it to easy so that I didn't struggle too much on the stream. But I can't move anything on this screen. The trainer screen, you actually move the mouse to change where the cursor is, which is an odd setup. But here we've got hard selected and I can't move it at all, so I have to pick hard. And that's why I felt okay with activating those unlimited health trainers and such. And yeah, we got some language options too. Yes, so the setup of this game is there's two worlds that you flip between. The fire world and the ice world. Let's just go to fire first, I guess. So the premise is Elvira's chilling at home in her 1900s colonial style house or whatever. The manual has a very detailed description of her lifestyle, at least her home. And then like a ghost appears and he's the Baron of Transylvania. You know what, let me read it from the manual. That'll be better than me trying to recount it from memory. At the bottom of her bed stood a ghostly figure dressed in a highly regal and colorful robe. Blah, 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 blah. My name is King Gustav of Transylvania. He had a big castle in the countryside, which did not pass on to his heirs. He had no heirs that were valid for whatever reason. And he wants to what do you call it? Inherit. She's inheriting. He's disinheriting. He's passing. He wants to pass his castle on to Elvira, but first she has to prove herself worthy by entering the magic orbs into these other worlds and doing something. Yeah, it's a bit unclear. But basically, if she conquers these hostile environments, she will be crowned Queen Elvira of Transylvania. Now, this gets into some of the things I briefly mentioned in the Sabrina stream. Some people think that Elvira is a vampire. It's a little unclear. She's like a dark lady of the night, etc., evil, that kind of thing. That's her image. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not taking damage from this stuff because of those cheats. That's all well and good. All we want to do is run around and get out of here. I'm not interested in dying a bunch of times. Jumping controls are quite finicky in this game. Whoops. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And I mentioned all this briefly before, but yeah, she was sort of trading on the same kind of shtick that Vampira was doing earlier. So that might contribute to it, and also just her nature being a little mysterious and unclear. But she isn't actually a vampire, she's a witch in her backstory. But she will become Queen of Transylvania as a result of this adventure, presumably. So that's something. Oops. Oh, great. You know what infinite health means? If we fall in a pit of fire, we don't die. And that means we can't actually get out. Oops. That's a real problem, actually. Well, luckily, I had a save state set up. Although I'm not sure if I had unlimited lives set up on this. Oh, but you don't need it. Since those pits aren't instant death, we have unlimited health, so we don't need unlimited lives. I don't know why they're all separate. I guess you would toggle on one or another if you wanted them to customize the difficulty. So I don't know if I've made a dumb choice with my cheats here. Uh-oh. Yes, it's happened again. All too easy. That's alright. I'll follow the sign at first. There is another way to go. I feel like these levels are a bit open, a bit mazy in some ways. Can we stop jumping? Nope. I guess I had the button held down or something. Oh, great. Okay. I guess the controls just get a little stuck sometimes. That's fine. These guys have a lot of health. But then they just explode when they hit you. Go figure. Yeah, so Elvira was one of the things I was considering last year doing Spooky Monsters streams for the vampire slot, but I ended up not even having any eligible vampire heroine games. There were a few I considered. There's some like adventure games and what do you call them? Hidden object type games. It's all here in my notes, but my notes are in a bit of a state. Hang on a second. Vampires, a vampire story. Nocturnal Boston Nightfall. Charlene Harris Dying for Daylight. Bloody Vampire. Yes, all of those. But I didn't play them. Okay, so I've just picked up a different weapon. The knife does 1 damage, the throwing stars do 2 damage. And later on you can get a torch that does 3 or more. And picking up multiple ones will increase their power, but then if you get one of the other ones, it'll reset. It's a bit like the Castlevania sub-weapons. Except that getting multiple of them will power them up, I think. Alright, so you've entered an overgrown labyrinth, possibly cobwebbed over. nice. It's making a noise when I go over it. Maybe it restores your health or something. Yeah, should be noted there's no music during gameplay, unfortunately. So we'll have just some sounds when things happen. Oh, here we go, a second one of those. Ah, that's how it does it. You get multiple shots. Very nice. Oh, that's a nasty guy. Okay, you know what? Since there's pits here, let's continue making save states. Yeah. By the way, to jump in this game, you have to press the up button. I believe the Amiga joystick only had the one button. What else can I do? Oh, I do have a jump button. Guess there's support for multiple things. Or I set it up, I don't remember. I'm still a bit iffy on Amiga emulation in general. Okay, so we have our first magic spell. Yes, and there's some doubling up on my buttons here. Gotta love that slowdown. Okay, I don't know how to use the magic spell exactly. Oh yes, you may notice at certain times that Elvira's outfit is a little revealing. If you are sensitive to such, then hide your children's eyes, please. Of course, I do have her on the left side of the screen right there, in all her glory. It's just the way she is. I'm thinking that block is like a trap block that when I step on it, those other blocks appear. Ah, but I can't get enough height to clear it. Oh, so close, come on. So where's the last place I can step before it appears? Ah, okay. I think we can do this. Yes! Totally cheeseballed it. I don't know what that pickup is, but I'll take it. So these tablets are rune stones. You can see my rune number going up by 5. There's supposedly ones that will give you 10 as well. Oh, that's a dead end. So there was just runes in here. And I'm stuck again. Cool beans. Well, I won't bother going in there again. Yeah, you spend the runes at a salesperson, a shopkeep, who will appear at some point. And you can trade spells with the guy, or he can give you info. I'm getting all this from the manual. Dang, I wish I knew how to use that spell. I do have the manual, as I said. Hey, Gibbons here, welcome. Sorry, I didn't know if you'd show up because I'm doing it at an odd time with not a whole heap of notice. Well, it certainly explains the spells. Aha, controls. Pause, unpause, space. I've got the control set to pick up my DualShock 3 instead of using the keyboard. So I don't know if the keyboard... Aha! Oh. What did I do? Oh. So space selects the spell. Enter casts the spell. So keyboard is set up and working. I don't know what it just did. There was a little glowy effect, but it suggested that a fireball would appear, but that didn't actually happen. So I don't know. Oh, Gibbon's saying he remembers this game. That's interesting. Tell me more about your experience with it. So this game did have a couple of ports, actually, so you might not have played it on the Amiga. I don't think the Amiga was this big in the US. What was that? Gross. Whoa! Oh, okay, now that I've cast that spell, my attacks are in fireball form. And I can murder these guys. Great. Wonderful. Yeah, so it was on the Amiga, but it's also had ports on DOS and the Commodore 64. What was the other one? Those were the 3 main platforms. I don't know if that was another one. Now, if I pick that up, it's going to reset. Yeah, it even reset my spell back to torch. That sucks. I couldn't really avoid them. Oh well. Yes, I have an infinite health trainer on right now, so all these enemies with their bullet sponge health walking slowly towards me are not going to bother me, thankfully. And gosh, there are a lot of them and they just overwhelm you. Oh, cool. Gibbon grew up with a Commodore 64, of course. I did know that, yes. There's a ton of cool games on the C64 and a ton of shoddy ports too. Although it's interesting, sometimes a game is on the Amiga and the Atari ST, and they have similar visuals, and then it's also ported to the Commodore. And the Commodore has much more basic, primitive graphics, but sometimes it ends up playing smoother. So I did check out the ports for this when I was having trouble, you know, not selecting anything below hard before I just decided to use the cheats anyway. And I decided the graphical upgrade was worth it. I don't think it played much smoother on the C64. Some of them do. I don't think this one did as much. But I think all the ports were handled by the same people, Flare Software. The same people who made the original, of course. They did all the ports. So Flare Software, I guess I'll talk about them because they're based in the UK. They've done a lot of Amiga stuff in their short lifespan before folding in the late 90s. Oh, what's this? Scenery, I guess? There's arrows everywhere, but I just don't know if I can trust them. I don't really know what the aim is, you know? Cool points. Because the story in the manual is very vague. I just assume you have to muddle your way around these levels until you find something. And yes, in the manual that is food that will restore health. Not a problem for me. So yeah, Gibbon says he had this game but was not good at it at all. Did you? So I wonder how easy piracy was on the C64. Did you buy this game or did you just get it on a floppy from, you know, people? Don't copy that floppy. And also, are you familiar with Elvira and her work? And also, how do you pronounce her name? I can't decide if it's Elvira or Elvira. I should have watched something that she's in before starting this, but you know, whatever. There's no lack of things that she's been in. Okay, sure I can stand on this. No. And I can't pass through that either. So that arrow, I don't know. I don't get this. Why are the arrows there? See, there's two opposite arrows at the ends of this corridor. Oh well. Let's keep slowly jumping around. Well, actually that doesn't help. Given. I think he's trying to say Elvira. Trying to help me out there. Thanks. So is Elvira right? Yeah, Gibbon saying he has no idea how he got it. He never purchased any games, just had floppies that his parents already owned. That's fun. Okay, I don't think I've been this way. Or have I? I think I came this way and then jumped up, so let's go down now. Yes, the food. Whoa, okay, a dragon, great. Yeah, this would be challenging if I had health, you know, limited health, but I don't. And yes, Gibbon is familiar with the character outside of this context as well. Like I said, she's been in a lot of stuff. Alright, we have a new spell. After hosting those movie night things on late night television, she became kind of a celebrity and appeared in lots of other shows. In fact, she had an appearance in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show live action segments, which surprised me a lot. 1989, in 2 separate episodes, she appears and interacts with Mario and Luigi in Brooklyn. Pretty weird stuff, pretty cool. Okay, that spell is fire resistance. It will protect me from heat, allowing me to walk through red hot lava or flames. Good to know. But yeah, she's been in a whole bunch of stuff, both at the time and in more recent years as well. I saw credits like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, like professional wrestling events, a Scooby-Doo episode recently, I think is the most recent thing. And yeah, she had her own feature film as well, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark in 1988, which supposedly this game is loosely based on, although I don't know about that. I guess the house setting and whatever else might be similar. But there's no other real characters in this game, so it's hard to say. Of course, the film was supposed to lead into a TV series. It was sort of a backdoor pilot situation. And okay, so I would have used the Firewalk spell if I didn't have infinite health to get through this bit. So surely there's some progress to be made over here. So yeah, in 1993 they filmed this pilot, but it wasn't taken up into a full series. Oddly enough, since I mentioned it on the Sabrina stream, the setup of the show is actually quite similar to the setup of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as well, except that Elvira is playing the part of one of the aunts. So she lives with her aunt, who's older, and then a younger girl, the niece of Elvira, I think, comes to live with them. So it's girl, aunt, and then great aunt or whatever. Once removed, I don't know. Ugh. I'll make this jump. It's the last thing I do. Might as well try some of my spells too. Don't need the health one, obviously. Well, who needs runes anyway? So yeah, it was a witch and aunts living together, interacting with locals, trying to keep magic secret and stuff. And they also had a talking cat. So there's a lot of similarities. Now, of course, 1993, it predates the Melissa Joan Hart. Oh, I found a secret treasure room. It predates the Melissa Joan Hart live-action series of Sabrina, of course, but that setting and that premise already existed in the comics. So maybe it was inspired by that. But the comic might not have had as high a profile at the time. I guess I'll follow the arrow, whatever. Yeah, so that's that. Oh, Gibbons finally got his copy of Impossible Lair. Yeah, I've been playing that all morning. In fact, I would have maybe done more preparation for this stream if I hadn't been playing it all morning. Great, good stuff. I'm glad you finally got it. It was Amazon had delayed shipping Gibbon his copy, unfortunately. But you've got it now, so we can all play together. Seems worth going in here. Trying to make some progress this way. This might be optional, but we'll see. So yeah, this is sort of Elvira at the height of her powers in the early 90s when this game came out. And there were 2 other games, so she's got 3 total. This is, well, the subtitle of this is Elvira. Oh my god, why do I keep doing it? I don't know. I've been corrected and yet I still refuse. Alright, I'm not going to get the star, the throwing star, because I want to keep the torches. They're more powerful. And so I'll avoid this dagger as well. 3 daggers, oh, wow. Okay, well, fine. Triple daggers. Get a bit more range. It's going to be hard to get through without touching them anyway. So yeah, the title is kind of uninspired. And yeah, I'll switch back to torch, whatever. It doesn't really matter, because enemies don't hurt me. Aha, 2 torches. Like that. Oh no. Oh, jeez. That's the worst outcome that could have happened. I'm down to just ninja stars. Yeah, so the subtitle is The Arcade Game. Pretty uninspired, just describes what the game is. But I guess that is to set it apart from the other 2 games that were out at the time, because there were 2 adventure games based on Elvira that were released around the same time. Unfortunately, you don't actually play as Elvira in them. You play as, like, oh, what was it, like her boyfriend or something, which is a little odd. But I guess since their first person perspective, you want to be able to show her off, I guess, you know, that's the whole thing, in her dress, etc. You want her to appear visually as a character in the game. And there were 2 of those. Flare Software actually was involved with porting those to, I think, the Commodore 64. They originally, similarly to this, appeared on Amiga and probably DOS as well. Yeah, 2 of those. One is just titled Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, after the movie. Oh, here we go. It's the Shoppy. Wow. Nice portrait. I like that. Okay. We're going to totally cheese this guy. Get his info and then out of the frying pan into the fire. That doesn't help me at all. And I didn't have enough for the 50. Oh. Oh, did I turn on infinite energy, infinite spell? I don't know. He says ice blasts have more effect in heat. Is that my 50 rune hint? Actually, that makes sense. So I guess part of the idea is you get spells and then travel to the other world. There's a teleport spell that I don't have yet, and you can use those spells in the other world and they do better. So that's interesting. Oh, and here I'll be able to trade some. So I did have Ice Blast and I used it, and then when I got another thing, I guess it went away. Maybe I can swap back to it. I'll try that. But I can trade spells that I already have for other ones. But I don't really need any of those right now. So thanks, dude. Okay. I do have 50 runes, but I didn't spend them by talking to him, I guess. Is that what just happened? Hold on. Load state. Yeah. I guess it's a cutoff. Okay. So you just collect them until you have a certain amount, and that means he'll give you hints of a certain kind. Okay, interesting. Ooh, I'll take those torches. Oh. Oh. I just got stuck in this wall. Wonderful. Haha. Okay. I'll go back and get that torch and then head to the left, or maybe down. Let's go down. Wait. Ah, okay, I'm back here. This is where I made that tricky jump. So going to the left it is. With 2 arrows pointing in opposite directions. Safe there. Oh, I wish that was music. It's putting a lot of pressure on me to fill the silence. That's a lot of food. I guess, let me see. Oh no! Foolish, I just ran into it. Ah, forget it. Who cares? Who cares? Just keep going. Oh. Well, now I have to load. I don't know where to go right now. If I had a teleport spell, I could at least go to the ice world. Oh, I actually died. Huh. 4 lives left. Well, you didn't get to see her death animation. Oh well. If you play the game normally, you'll see it plenty of times, trust me. Oh, great. I've sort of been in a big loop now. And I think the only way I can go right now is to retrace my steps down this way. And maybe if I make my way back to the top, I can go all the way left. Wow. So, oh, great. Those other 2 adventure games were made by Horrorsoft. They only had 2 other games on Moby Games. Flare Software. Like I said, they had a bunch of stuff. I think maybe their most successful thing was Oscar, a mascot platformer they did, which is an odd concept. You're playing as this weird hedgehog creature or something, but from what I remember of the description, Oscar is a name that is related to the theme because you have to collect Academy Awards or something. Odd concept, but after Flare Software folded, some other company, I guess, got control of the IP because a bunch of sequels showed up on the DSiWare store. Strangely enough. They might have been exclusive to Europe. I'm not sure. I guess it's too early to ask you about your Impossible Lair experience, given if you have just started, but it's an interesting game, very interesting. Worth checking out, even if you weren't into the original Ukulele by Playtonic. It has this cool kind of gameplay conceit where there's both an overworld and side-scrolling levels that you play through. So the levels are sort of Donkey Kong Country inspired because, you know, there's a lot of developers in common between the two. X-Rare people left and formed Playtonic, and now they made this game. But the overworld segments seem to have a lineage tracing back to other Rare handheld stuff. So the game's director actually also worked on Conker's Pocket Tales, Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, and Saberwolf GBA. So sort of later era Rare handheld stuff. And if I was going to compare Ukulele and the Impossible Lair to any game, it would be Saberwolf GBA, oddly enough, in that it has an almost even mix of overworld traversal from an isometric perspective and 2D side-scrolling levels. And it's a really good mix that works well together. Now that's the trap corridor that I went in and didn't seem to have anything worth noting. So now we'll go to the left, which we haven't been to before. Save. Oh, that slowdown. But my philosophy when playing the game was to do as much overworld as I could before going into the levels that I unlocked, because you can get gameplay modifiers by exploring the overworld that only affect how things work in the levels. So I wanted to have access to as many of those as I could before trying them, in case I found some that I would end up using. As it turns out, a lot of them have effects that only let me start again. A lot of the tonics, which are the modifiers that you unlock, have only aesthetic effects. So applying different filters and such for novelty effect, which is cool and fine too. But the reason I would wait to play the levels is in case I got any actual gameplay modifiers. Am I spoiling too much for you, Given? He says he's starting now since the updates just were installing. He hasn't even gotten to the title screen. Let's take a moment here to look at the background. This is very sort of in line with fantasy games of this era. I'm reminded of things like, Another World and stuff, where you go to a very alien fantasy world. Okay, so here's a new place we haven't seen. Yeah, there was a day 1 patch for Impossible Lair. Maybe a day 2 patch. So you would have had to install that. The patch notes just said, bug fixes. Ooh, that looks important. How do I get up there? Is there a fly spell? Yeah, there's no way I can get to that with my current abilities. So there must be... I have a list of the spells right here in the manual. Shield, fire resist, first aid spell, shields me. Featherfall, which just removes fall damage. World Walk, let's go to the other world. Teleport, aha. So if I get a teleport spell, I think that's a teleporter that will, as long as I have the spell, I can use those. And then there's Ice Blast and Fire Blast and Lightning. Yeah, and they're all sort of consumable, or most of them. Alright. So I'll progress until I have teleport. Oh, sorry. I'll stop talking about it in case I, inadvertently reveal too much. I've lost the ability to move, so yeah, that's death. That's the death animation, by the way, in case you're wondering. Just in case, I'll reload to save me that life. So that will be progression blocked behind the Featherfall spell. So I'll try to remember to come back then. You would think beating the dragon would be, important. I don't know. Oh. Well, that trader didn't have the Featherfall spell, and that's the only thing that would actually block progress right now for me. Firewalk. Well, the dragon gave me Firewalk, which I didn't need because of cheats, but I don't recall getting anything too important or progress, progress inducing by going to that trader. I fell. Well, since I'm in here, let me load an earlier state just to check what he had for trade. Firewalk, first aid, shield, and Ice Blast. Yeah, not useful right now. And yet, suddenly I'm at a loose end. Did I stay on the surface when I went right? I'll try that. Fireballs. Yeah, Given says he muted all the channels in Discords all week, trying to experience it fresh. Good plan. yes, there'll be a bit of discussion to catch up on now. A lot of people are reacting very positively to it, so that's a good thing. I'm not seeing the kind of backlash that, you know, the original ukulele game got unfairly, I think. Very excellent game. People had too high expectations, I think. Or they'd forgotten what banjo games are actually like. That was more the case with some reviewers. Okay. This kind of looks important. Oh, oh, that's good. Alright, that looks like a trapdoor. I wonder if it'll take me somewhere. Oh, it's not. The trader had a trapdoor right next to him that looked like that. Oh, it's you again. Rawr, rawr. Oh, and it's also fortuitous that the graphic novel by DM Combo, Ukulele and the Cracklestone, was just released digitally as well. The print copies that you would have got if you'd backed at the right level for the Kickstarter, they're still being printed and they're on their way. They haven't arrived yet, but Key, what does Key do? The manual does not mention keys. Okay. Okay, I don't know what that means. It did give me some points. Maybe it's just for points? Maybe it opened a treasure chest? Okay. And yeah, Cracklestone, the comic, is a lot of fun as well. Alright, so that's the thing that I saw before and couldn't go through. What's left? What's left for me to do in this world? She just walks so slowly. She doesn't feel that she needs to move briskly. That's confidence for you. By the way, I've mentioned a few times how revealing her outfit is. That really is part of the character, being a bit lewd and risque. From what I gather of her appearances in the movie and the TV show, there's a lot of crude humor to do with anatomy and so on. And adult acts. So that's the kind of thing that she's known for. Maybe I should put a warning on this stream. I don't think this game in particular has much adult content like that, but be warned if you are seeking out Elvira content otherwise. That hair though, it's so big. Very impressive. Golly gee willikers. Let me see here. I'm gonna look real quick if there's a map online of this level. That might help me a lot. Otherwise I'll just like restart and explore the ice world a bit and then I'll call it. Must include map, please. Oh, here's a map of the adventure game. Not what I needed. Here's a map of the other adventure game. How about this one? No, that's no good. Oh. Is it possible Flare just published this and didn't develop it? I don't know, unclear. Oh, yeah, Elvira and the Party Monsters. There's a pinball machine based on Elvira, which sometimes comes up if you're looking for games starring her. Oh, there's the ending. Well, we're not going to get there today, I don't think. And I can't find a map, so... So it's either going to be wandering aimlessly or restarting right now. I'm going to go back to where that fire was because I didn't get any progress stuff past here. So if I explore this a little bit more thoroughly, maybe I can get Featherfall. And there's got to be a way to get the warp spell so I can go to the ice world normally. Did I go down here? Dead end. So let me tell you about something nice that happened to me today. I had an interaction with a developer of a game on Twitter. So I'm doing a thing where well, let me start with this. So all last year I streamed games that had a heroine character as the main character. And then after I was done with that, I was like, I really liked some of these characters and being introduced to them in that way. So I used that as the basis for a pixel art, and I do artwork using as few pixels as possible. So all my characters have 3x3 heads, torsos, and legs, plus the arms and whatever else. And I like drawing characters that I like in that style. So I went and did that for all the heroines that are from games I'd streamed. I gotta start saving over earlier slots now. Yikes. Yeah, so I did that. And then I did it for earlier games that I'd streamed, and I've also done it... No, I've yet to do it for games I've streamed this year, and that's going to come up at the end of the year, I guess. But I'm always looking for more things that I can draw. So I started thinking back to other games I'd played and doing the same thing for them. So I'm going to draw any heroines from games that I've written a review for on my blog. And then I decided to go even further and try and think back to games I played in my childhood and draw those characters too. So I've been making lists and spreadsheets and trying to remember things and searching old demo discs to jog my memory of anything that I might have forgotten as well. And one thing that came up was an iMac game called Nanosaur. Now this is a game which, if you were in contact with iMacs at all in their initial phase, colored phase, when the first, translucent back iMacs were released, a lot of them had these Pangea software games pre-installed. And Nanosaur was one of them, as well as Bugdom and Chromag Rally. So I've got good memories of Nanosaur. I never actually owned an iMac in our family, but my friend had one, and I was always over at his place playing games. And our school, actually my primary school library, got a bunch of iMacs in there for students to use, which was really cool. And of course, a lot of students ended up playing games on them, as you do. We had like SimCity and Lemmings. Actually, my family's first computer, we ended up donating it to the school. It was a very, very old black and white Mac. And then we had a Windows 95 one later. But the iMacs, Nanosaur was like the highlight of the software package on those iMacs. It was really fun. The premise was you're a dinosaur from the future with guns, coming from an advanced future where humans cloned dinosaurs and made them intelligent, but then all the humans died. So the dinosaurs were left, but because they'd been genetically engineered, this is all like backstory. It's not really important to the game, but dinosaurs found they were sterile, so then they had to go back in time. It's this guy again. Let me check the info just in case. Get the key and reach. Oh, so these are contextual. Okay, get the key and retrace the steps. I did get a key, so retracing my steps now. Keep your guard up. Yeah, thanks a lot, dude. That's really helpful. Also, I don't have the shield spell, so but I don't need it. Screw you. Okay, so retrace my steps to find somewhere where a key would be used, I guess. Ah, I died. I see. Very interesting. Key. I cannot think right now of where a key would be used exactly. Where did I even find that dragon? Jeez Louise. All right. So Nanosaur, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the dinosaurs of the future need some genetic diversity. So what they do is they send back operatives to the very end of dinosaur dominance on Earth, just before the asteroid is going to strike the Earth. Meteor, yeah, one of those. It's a meteor that, upon entering Earth's atmosphere, becomes a meteorite. I think is how it goes. Something that's floating in space is an asteroid. Anyway, dinosaurs are all about to be killed, of course. So they feel justified in going and taking eggs from the living population of dinosaurs, knowing that they're about to be obliterated by the space rock. Anyway, so that's the premise of the game. You have a time limit to go around and find as many eggs as you can, and you have a giant gun which you can just blast any dinosaurs with because, hey, they're going to die anyway. So it's just a really fun, action-y, arcadey like game, but you're actually exploring a whole 3D world. Into that pit again. Now I don't know what to do. Retrace my steps. This place is huge and I walk so slowly. Oh, great. Retrace steps. I did want to go back to where the dragon was, but I don't really think that I need to. I'll just walk for a bit. I'll complete this anecdote. So it's a lot of fun, that game. Finding power-ups, using your jetpack to fly around. You're a raptor, by the way, some kind of raptor. Unclear what. Just blowing up all these other dinosaurs that attack you. And finding eggs. And just the mishmash of sci-fi tech with dinosaurs is a lot of fun. It's a fun setting. So I'm like thinking about this Nanosaur protagonist, and they're pretty nondescript. And I was just reading about it on Wikipedia, and the Wikipedia article uses female pronouns for the raptor protagonist. I'm like, oh geez, is that just part of the backstory? And it doesn't really come out in the character per se, but it's just a nice little background thing that, yeah, it's a female dinosaur, so what? So that would be a good candidate for this pixel art project. So I did some more research to verify that, because, it's Wikipedia. Anyone could have written that in. And, spoiler alert, I think that's just what happened. Somebody just wrote that baselessly, because I couldn't find any evidence of a female gender for this dinosaur. In fact, I found 2 counterexamples, unfortunately. One being the comic adaptation, which was planned and completed but not really printed, and then posted on the artist's website, but then a few years later it was the whole website was down and the comics disappeared and nobody can find it anymore. There was a Kickstarter actually, which was just successful, but then nothing more was heard from it, unfortunately. But the descriptions for the planned comic and the summaries and so on refer to the Nanosaur as a he. And looking further, I eventually found a copy of the game's manual. It was originally on Mac, but it got a PC port as well. I think it was a manual for the PC version, which is very neutral throughout, just referring to them as the Nanosaur whenever it would come up, so really avoiding the use of pronouns for the most part, except for one tiny reference, which is when it describes you get 3 lives, and when you lose a life, it says that another Nanosaur is actually transported from the future to take his place. So there's the game's manual is almost the highest source of authoritative information you can get. So I didn't know where this reference in Wikipedia had come from to Nanosaur being a she. So then what I did was decided to sort of take it into my own hands, and I looked up some of the credits for the game. I found that one of the developers of the PC re-release port, which added extra things, Nanosaur Extreme, is a woman called Rebecca Heineman. And so I contacted her on Twitter and I said, hey, I found conflicting information on what the gender of the Nanosaur is. Can you clear it up for me? Parentheses, I'm asking you because you're a woman and I actually want it to be a woman dinosaur. So please tell me what I want to hear, sort of thing, is what I implied. And she's just got back to me just before the stream started saying, sure, it's a girl who's protecting her eggs. And I'm like, great. I'll take that and I'll run with it. Even if it contradicts information in the manual. Shh. All right. So that was a fun little, that brightened my mood this morning. All right. I'm going to reset and I'm going to explore the ice world. Oh, I needn't have done a hard reset. I should have done a soft reset. Oh well, warp time. Warp mode. Or maybe I will load that state and then do a soft reset. Yeah, baby. It was the little difference anyway. Okay, click. Lives, energy, and spell points. Start game. Okay, we're going to check out the ice world, people. I have cropped the Amiga screen, so the cutscenes are in widescreen actually, and some of the UI elements, but the gameplay all takes place in a smaller window. It's not, I don't think it's quite 4:3. It's a little bit wider than that, but it's. Oh yes, we do get some music on the menu screens. Yeah, enjoy that while it lasts. Okay, let's go to the ice world. Frozen Earth. Oh yeah, we're bypassing the copy protection because it's a cracked copy and crackers do that kind of thing. Thank you, crackers. So yeah, Nanosaur is a really cool game, and I'm glad I could include it on this pixel art, especially because it fills a spot where I had 2 dragon characters. I could put Nanosaur next to them. Otherwise, that row would be a bit more bare. All right, what's different here? Well, we have different enemies straight off the bat. They act pretty similarly. Oh, don't know what that was. But everything looks different, which is a nice change. We have some nice snow effects. Whoa, that's a lot of little demons. Nice ice formations, very good. Maybe I'll manage to make it a little further in the ice world. Let's find out. Ooh, a brazier, or brazier, if you will. It's too bad I don't have all my spells now, not that any of them would have done me much good. A sense of direction is a lot more important in this game than what spells you have, I think. Unless, you know, Featherfall is blocking some progress. But I never did find that warp spell to get me from world to world. Oh. Some lava coming up in frozen earth. Odd. Oh. Dinosaur. Sort of. It doesn't have a tail. Looks a bit odd. I've got dinosaurs on the brain anyways, because I just started playing Lego Jurassic World with my spouse. On the Wii U, of course, which is my preferred platform for Lego games. Because as long as they've been, you know, programmed well, then it's a good experience playing them on the gamepad with one person and on the TV screen with the other person. You get 2 full widescreen views. So otherwise you'd only have 2 halves of this, like one half of the screen each, and it does split screen, and it has this dynamic split screen, which can be a little bit distracting sometimes. So as long as the frame rate holds up, which varies from game to game, then it's good to play them on Wii U, I think. As long as you don't mind looking at the dinky gamepad screen, which I don't. And I've already been delighted by Jeff Goldblum shenanigans, so it was worth it. And you even get to control dinosaurs in some parts of the game. When Ellie Sattler heals the Triceratops, you then take control of it and use it in the rest of the level. Wizards, go away. Oh, triple torch, yeah. Woo. Excitement. Whoa. Oh, great. Oh, no. When did I save? I didn't save at all, did I? Great. That's terrible. Let me see. Soft reset again. Oh, so, yeah. How's everyone else doing today? Start game. I also remembered that I should include the Magic School Bus games because I played a few of those as a kid on the computer. Spent a lot of time with them actually. Clicking around all those screens, playing the mini games, maybe even learning something. So I'll draw Miss Frizzle in there. Good books, but really good games too. Come on, we can walk through this. Alright. This time we'll go to the right. We didn't really find anything yet. On Frozen Earth. If you just had floppies for your C64 game, and you probably had a ton of them, right? That's how these things generally work. When piracy is open to you, you can sort of go rampant and just get tons of stuff, and then you never... There gets a point where you have maybe too much, and you don't know what's good. That friend I mentioned, where I played at the iMac at his house, he had at one point an even older, you know, a much older computer. What's that spell? A computer so old that it used floppy disks, not just things that were called floppy disks. So you used disks that were floppy. I think that's the teleport spell. It's collected to enable teleporters to be used. The spell's never actually cast. It remains with you until the end of the particular world in which it has been collected. So not 3 1/4 inch floppies. These were 5 1/2 or whatever inch floppy disks. They were big, they were flexible, and they took a long time to load. So he had a whole drawer full of these things with a bunch of games on them, and we had no idea what games were good. The only one I remember was one called Fat City, where you control a demolition wrecking ball, and your objective is to knock down all the buildings on the screen. And it took a very, very long time to load. There was more time waiting than there was, more time waiting for it to finish loading than there was entertainment value of playing the game in terms of time. So not a great investment for that particular one. I think we got bored of trying to load these disks up pretty quickly because there were other options. I've been thinking recently, like, by trying to remember all these games I played in my childhood, I've been trying to identify the ones that I played at his place, because there were a lot of good ones, but I couldn't tell you what they were called. That was a key, a smaller key. One that I've been trying to get a copy of is Giant Citizen Kabuto, which I played on one of his newer Macs. There was apparently a PlayStation 2 port, so I was sort of looking at finding a copy of that. That was a really fun, like, sci-fi third-person shooter kind of thing, but I don't know, it was sort of built around a deathmatch mode, but it also had a campaign, and there were 3 different types of characters that had very different play styles. So some were like humans in space armor, but you could also play a giant monster creature, a kaiju type thing. And there was also a sort of magical, like, fairy goddess kind of character who had magic powers of some kind. But if I tried to remember all the shareware junk that I played at his place, I mean, there was tons. But what was the most memorable? Yipe. Yipe was really good. That was, in retrospect, a pretty primitive CRPG, like top-down, move around the screen. I think once you entered a battle, it became turn-based. But the fun feature of that game was it had a silly mode, which would replace all the fantasy-type RPG pictures and descriptions with names specifically, with like jokes and stuff. So instead of health potions, you had Scooby snacks, and instead of a knight in armor, your character sprite could be like a Muppet type thing. What else? Spin Doctor was good. They ported that to iPhone at some point, as they did with Glider. Glider is probably the best Mac game ever made. You play as a paper aeroplane. I would have mentioned this on the Banjo-Kazooie Lunchables aerial challenge, not stream. It was sort of an LP. I did a short video of it on my YouTube channel. It's just the only time I've done like pre-recorded footage of a gameplay thing. Yeah, anyway, Glider was really cool. You fly around a house, and there are a lot of different houses, a lot of maps to choose from. That was ported to iPhone too, but it is now gone under the deprecation hammer and can't be downloaded anymore. But that was really cool. Just exploring these houses. Every room was a little puzzle. Using all the limitations of a paper plane to get through. And hazards are like water drips and stuff. Yeah. It sounds a lot better than I'm making it sound. I mean, it is a lot better than I'm making it sound. Oh, Gibbon, sorry. He says that he also had a tape deck player, not just floppies, for the C64. He could run tapes on it as well. Aztec Challenge and Forbidden Forest were on cassette. That's cool. I should know that because I've tried emulating C64 games a fair bit, and half of them are tape games and half of them are floppy games. A key. That might be important. Maybe those block wall things, maybe a key will let me through those. That's what I'll try next. Well, that's all well and good, Given. I don't know what Aztec Challenge and Forbidden Forest are. Forgive my ignorance. Were they good? Tell me about them. Are they the best games on the C64 platform? What have I played on C64? I played Mrs. Mop with, I think, the 2Ps version, not the 1P version. The controls just didn't work. They were all mapped weirdly. I had a ton of trouble with that. I played Sea Speller. I think that was C64. That was an interesting little thing on my Dolphin stream. I played the Dolphin's Pearl. Very strange, ambitious game that I did not understand at all. Someone in the comments kindly pointed out how to properly play it, so if I ever revisit that one, I'll be better equipped. What else have I played? Commodore 64. I don't know. I could navigate to my ROM folder, but that would be cheating now, wouldn't it? Alright, so here's the door. Do I need to... what do I do? Spacebar. Space isn't changing my spell. I thought maybe the key was in a spell slot. Alright, now that I've used that, I guess I should be able to use teleporters if I ever find one. But no, the key... Like, there's no menu screen, is there? I don't think there needs to be. Like, you cycle through your spells. I got a key. It's not really displayed anywhere that I have it, though. But maybe the keys aren't for opening those doors. Whatever. Let me see. So I asked if Aztec Challenge and Forbidden Forest were the best games, and Gibbon says, who knows about that, but they were certainly the most expansive C64 games that he had. Forbidden Forest actually got a 3D port on the PlayStation. Interesting. That's always fun, when you take a really old game and you reimagine it like that. Now, there was another key there, so I now have 2 keys and know where to use them. Temple Run on iPhone, on phones actually, he says, is basically one of the worlds of Aztec Challenge. It was Pitfall-ish and changed up the gameplay a lot from world to world. Oh, that's cool. That's always fun. This game is very much the same gameplay between 2 different worlds. Hold on, my brother's calling me. I gotta accept this. Hello, Cameron. I'm live on stream right now. No, that's fine. I'll chat to you. People listening will get a one-sided conversation. Yeah, all week actually. Yeah. What? Oh, yeah, I did. Sorry, I lied to you. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, geez. I don't know. Where else can I go in this world now? I feel like I've been everywhere, and yet I've explored a lot less of this world than I did the Fire world. Try going to the left again. but I don't feel like I've made much progress here. And I really wish that Elvira walked a little bit faster. Come on. Oh, you know what I could do? Warp mode. Yeah. Wow, this actually almost feels a little better to play. Oh no. Great. Of course, that was going to be more of a danger. Ah. Okay, this is nuts. Yeah, warp mode is not so bad when there's no music, but makes precise control a little bit tricky. And also my computer is audibly struggling. The fan has started blowing harder. I love just tanking hits on all these. Oh no, I did it again. Did I have another save state? No, that's the most recent one. Yeah, I think we might be approaching the end here. Because it's a bonus stream, you know, it can be shorter, so... Alright, so let me see, it was the next bit here. Oh, I did it! A third time! Alright, that's a good place to end. I'm going to finish now. Thanks for joining me. This has been me struggling a lot with Elvira, the arcade game. There is no full game playthrough of this online, so... if you want to see the ending, there was, yeah, the C64 ending has been captured online on a website that's dedicated to showing you endings of games. But otherwise, you'll have to play it yourself and do better than I did to see what happens. I assume that Elvira becomes the Queen of Transylvania, which is nice for her. Yeah, so that's which month. I'm not streaming next week. But the week after is still within which month, so I have one more thing for you all then. That should be a lot of fun. And yeah, thanks for joining me. It's good to have you appreciating the videos. So I hope you have a nice day, week, your month, or even your year. And if you come back to watch my stream, I'll be there for you. Okay, bye-bye now.